Good morning, boys and girls. We have been talking about taking care of our earth, and on Thursday, Mrs. Robinson read you a story called Reduce, Reuse, and Recycle. And so you know that if you're reducing something, you're using less of it. So I could reduce the amount of water I use when brushing my teeth by making sure that I turn the water off until I'm um, done brushing and then rinse my toothbrush off and rinse out my mouth. I can reuse things. For example, I could have a reusable water bottle. Instead of going to the store and buying plastic water bottles, I could have a water bottle that I could just keep refilling. And today we are going to be talking a lot about recycling. Our story today is called Recycle, Recycle, Recycle. And I'm sure a lot of you recognize this symbol that's right here on the planet Earth. I'm sure you've seen it a lot around your house on different things, whether it be plastic or aluminum. I'm sure you have seen this recycling symbol at your house before. Okay, before we get started, we are going to go over some vocabulary words that you need to know. The first word that you need to know is the word aluminum. Aluminum is a type of metal used to make cans, foil, etc. A furnace is a large oven in which a great amount of heat is produced. You probably have a furnace inside your house to keep your house nice and warm. A solution is an answer to a problem, and sorted means separated into different groups according to certain characteristics or features. I asked an artist to make a picture with these green recycling arrows on top of me. I hope this will help you remember that recycling is very healthy for good old Earth. Recycling is so important that I have come back to tell you even more about it, just to make sure that you understand how much good you are doing when you recycle something. The very first step in the recycling process is, instead of throwing recyclable materials away in an ordinary trash can, you must put these things aside and save them in another container like a recycling bin. Okay, here's some recycling bins at a recycling center. There's one that you just put plastic in, one for paper, one for metal, one for clear glass, and one for colored glass. Once you have saved a lot of things to be recycled, they need to be brought to a place called a recycling center. Sometimes people bring their own recyclables directly to the recycling center. In this picture, you can see a place with several large bins of different colors. People can bring all their recyclable materials here, but everything has to go in the right place. Glass goes in one bin, cans in another, paper in another, and so on. In some places, though, people do not have to go to the recycling centers themselves. Instead, they can set out the recycling bins by the side of the road, just like they set out their garbage cans. And a special recycling truck comes by to empty the bins and take the recyclables to the recycling center. I don't know about you, but I think that recycling is very interesting. Here's a colorful recycling picture. Can you guess what's being recycled in this picture? Let's look at this picture. Look at all that stuff in there. It looks a lot like plastic to me. This is a picture of plastic bottle tops. All of these bottle tops were collected at a recycling center. They were taken to a plastics recycling factory where they were pressed together in a big colorful mismatch. Later, these bottle tops will be melted down into a liquid so that they can be remolded and turned into something new made of plastic. Look around your house right now and see if you can spot anything made of plastic. I bet you can. Maybe it's even made from recycled plastic. Or maybe it's something you can recycle when you're done using it so that it can be made into something else. What's in this picture? Here are some cans made out of metal called aluminum. Maybe you have had drinks that come in cans like these. If you throw a can away into a trash can and send it off to the landfill, it will take at least 500 years for that aluminum can to break down and decompose. But if you put the same can in a recycling bin instead, the aluminum metal can be reused and the cans don't have to be buried in the landfill. Let's take a closer look at how cans are recycled. This diagram or drawing shows what happens when you recycle an aluminum can. Aluminum is a natural resource that is mined and dug out of the earth. From there, it goes to a factory where the raw aluminum is made into metal cans that can be filled with things such as soda. After you buy a can of soda and drink it, you're left with an old used can. You can throw the can in the garbage, but then it will end up in the landfill. A better, more responsible solution is to put the empty can into a recycling bin. Okay, so from the recycling center, you have a can that's filled with soda, and then you drink your soda and you can put it into the recycling bin and it'll go back to the recycling center and it will get turned maybe into another can or into something else that can be reused again. These cans have already been sorted and cleaned at the recycling center and are now at a special recycling factory for aluminum. Workers at the recycling factory crush the cans and melt them down into a big cooker with lots of other cans. Maybe they'll make a new can and the cycle will begin all over again. The can gets filled with something to eat or drink. Someone uses the can and puts it in the recycling bin. The can is brought to a recycling center and finally a factory and so on again and again. What are these bottles made of? These bottles are made of glass. If you tossed bottles like these in the trash, they would be hauled away to the landfill. Some kinds of glass take about 3,000 years to decompose. That's a long time. Luckily, many glass items can be recycled instead. At the glass recycling factory, the glass is crushed into little pieces. Crushed glass is then put into a very hot furnace and melted into a super hot glowing liquid. With enough heat, glass melts just like ice melts. Here is a little piece of glass that has been heated up so much that it is just about to melt and turn to liquid. Now imagine a big pot full of little bits of glass like this, all eventually melting together into a thick, hot, syrupy liquid. That's what you would find at the glass recycling facility. This picture shows the inside of a bottle making factory. These are freshly made bottles. They are so hot you dare not touch them. But they'll be cool and hard again soon. Recycling really isn't hard to do, but I'll admit that it does require a little bit of extra work. Taking the time to decide whether to throw something away in the garbage can or whether to put it in the recycling bin doesn't always make it to the top of the to-do list, but it really is worth the time to take care of good old Earth. Be sure to ask the next time you use a bottle, a can, or anything else, is that recyclable? Can I conserve natural resources by making it into something useful again? Okay, so the questions for today are, what is the main topic of the read aloud? Number 2, what is recycling? Number 3, name some things that you can recycle. Number 4, what happens to the things that you take to the recycling center? Number 5, describe the steps taken to recycle glass. Okay, and our word work for today is, in the read aloud, you heard a better, more responsible solution is to put empty cans into a recycling bin. Say the word solution. A solution is an answer to a problem. Okay. So we've been talking about the word solution, and you are going to be telling me if what I say is a problem or if it is a solution. Okay, so number 1, the family cat is stuck in a tall tree. Is that a problem or a solution? A fireman comes and gets the cat down. Is that a problem or a solution? 2 sisters are arguing about who gets the last cupcake. Is that a problem or a solution? The sisters decide to share the cupcake. Is that a problem or a solution? You guys can think about all of those things and decide what would be a problem and what would be a solution, and also think about those comprehension questions. Have a great day.